Bigfoot. Just kind of what I did and what I upgraded. I would say definitely when you get this thing out the box, go ahead and order you a set of bearings, because they come with the at least they're metal bushings, not plastic, but they come with like these little bushings here, and they sell just, you know, a whole tube of those. I forget how many you get, but there's one of them. They sell the bearings, so you know you can replace out throughout the whole truck and everything. T-bone bumper does an excellent job. I own some on most of my RCs if they make them for it. Really indestructible. I mean, it really protects the front end. They have lifetime warranty. If you ever shatter this thing, you just send it right back to them. They'll send you a replacement out. Let's see, when I said that I upgraded the shocks in one of my other videos, the shock housings themselves are stock, and I believe, you know, they're big bore shocks. And I just, you know, when I was doing really high jumps, it was blowing my shock caps off because they were plastic. And I've, you know, read online that was a review that other folks were leaving behind that, you know, it was doing that. So of course Traxxas sells this cool little kit that comes with all four, you know, metal shock caps, and I haven't had an issue since. Also stiffer springs. These springs are a lot stiffer than the stock, a lot thicker, gives it a lot more rebound, a lot more cushioning whenever I land. Because I mean, I like to get big air with this thing, and it'll handle it. It'll do big air, backflips. I mean, these things are indestructible. Perfect for kids too. You have the stock ESC and brush system that comes in there. Has a beginner mode where you can do 50% throttle, and you know, for kids to learn on and whatnot. But even at 100% throttle, it's you know, pretty fun for anybody. And I had fun with it when it was brushed. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Titan 12 turn that comes in this thing. I mean, it does really good. My son has one, and I've kept it brushed. You know, again, just replace those bushings with bearings. That would be like the main upgrade. Everything else pretty much is fine. I would also, if you add the wheelie bar and plan on jumping and stuff, I would probably take that off, because you tend to land on the rear, and when you do, it'll shove this wheelie bar kind of back up into the motor, and it can, you know, push your motor up into the spur, which, you know what, that'll happen, and spur gear will strip out because it slams that pinion in there. But you can also fix that by you know, backing out the motor screws, putting Loctite on them, and tighten them down pretty good. And I've even heard of somebody else that they put little lock washers underneath that helped it from slipping. You know, all it does is it pushes up on the motor, and it causes the motor just to shift a little bit tighter toward the spur, and you'll be able to hear it when it does. But for the most part, I mean, it won't, just as long as you're not getting mad air landing on the wheelie bar. Everything you see green, except for this, of course, that I believe came off the green Scully or something, but all the other stuff you see green is RPM. You can probably see there. You know, RPM makes really good stuff, and there was nothing wrong with what was on here. It was just blue, and you know, because it was the Bigfoot and everything, and I got a muddy monster body that costed me only 20 bucks, which I reinforced. There's a video for that. I reinforced it with shoe goo, just so it's my basher body, you know, something to bash around with and not tear up my Bigfoot body. Those things are pretty. Everybody knows Traxxas, when they come out with a collectible body, you know, they'll take it off the market. The prices will skyrocket. This thing's still on, you know, the Bigfoot bodies are still on the market, and I think the prices are going up anyway, you know. Or they'll re-release another one that's similar but not exactly the same, so which makes the first Bigfoot bodies original and more valuable. So I'm just gonna leave my Bigfoot body up and keep it nice and pretty. Use this one. I've had it over a year now. It's still rock solid. It does really well. I did the brushless upgrade on this, like I was saying. At first, I had this guy in here. This is the Ghoul RC 60 amp. And, you know, I seen everybody was like, oh, yeah, those things fry, man. They're, you know, you can't put too much power on them. And, you know, they won't handle 3S and blah, blah, blah. Well, if you read the instructions, it strictly says that if you run 3S, that you need to upgrade the cooling fan. That the fan itself does not handle, you know, the 11.1 volts and whatnot, and you have to upgrade the fan, I guess, to keep, you know, cooler temperatures. I'll see if I can add in a little pic at the end of what I'm talking about that's written in the paper. But I had it in there, was doing good. I upgraded. I put a wild turbo fan in there, which isn't in there anymore. Did great. Took it out to the park, you know, was running fine. It ran fine for about, I guess, about 2 or 3 runs. On 2S, I did not stick a 3S battery in it. And it was just a little slight, little mud puddle, you know. And I thought it'd be fun just to kind of hydroplane, you know, across it. Bad idea. Just, it didn't even submerge. Didn't hardly get any water on this thing. And next thing you know, it went through and then did the whole stutter stall walk, you know. So, luckily, I had a ESC that's a Hobby Wing 60 amp. But it's the big 60 amp that come out of the Terremoto 10. The Terremoto 10 now comes with an 80 amp. They kind of recalled putting the 60 amps in there because people were frying them kind of underpowered for that big of a truck. You know, and with its gearing and everything else and huge tires and all the weight to it, those 60 amps weren't lasting, but it would be perfect in this. So thanks to Red Cat, you know, they sent me out the 80 amp when I messaged them and said, hey, look, you know, I've got one of the older model trucks that has the 60 amp ESC. You know, I'm not really having any issues out of it yet, but, you know, was wondering, hey, well, send me the upgrade since now that's what's offered. And with no questions, they sent me out the 80 amp ESC. So I took the 60 out of it, put it in here, and put the 80 amp in the Terremoto. And, yeah, so now she's got power on demand for sure, you know. And it's waterproof. I won't have to worry about anything. I stuck the wild turbo fan in here, in which you can hear this thing. And it sounds like a jet ready to take off, which that'll keep it all nice and cool. And this is the 3800 kV that come out of a Blackout XBE Pro, which is that guy sitting up there, the blue one. And which it flies. I mean, it's wicked fast. And again, this was just the backup motor that I had sitting around, and figured, what the heck. And it turned out to really be a great system in this truck. So other than that, I think everything's pretty much stock. You know, RPM, the new springs, the shock caps, you know, brushless system, the hot racing metal spur gear I do have in there, just to help, you know, from having any strip spur issues. But all in all, man, this is a really fun truck. I enjoy it. I highly recommend it for anyone, you know, especially straight out of the box. Yeah, I mean, it's just fun all around. Again, guys, thank you for watching. I think that's pretty much it, and that covers everything. There's not really a, you know, a how-to on the brushless system, you know, on what you can do to, I mean, you just kind of buy what system you want and stick it in there, you know. It just replaces the other stuff and goes right on in. No problem. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys.